All right, guys, we're back with some more Run 8 action. Today, we're going to be putting together some of the stuff that we've been working on in the previous videos, right? Just getting this heavy train started. At Cliff, either via synchronous or asynchronous mode. Like I said, now that we've gone over asynchronous, it's the way that, like, especially with a RailDriver, I like to use. So, we've done is we've jumped back on the same train, right? The BAKBAR, and we are on a extremely busy save now. There's like tons and tons of trains on the mountain that we're going to have to meet, so that's going to make it kind of difficult, right? We're going to have a lot of starting and stopping. So first thing we need to do is go ahead and relinquish everyone, or let everyone go, I guess. Release everyone is what I mean to say. Let's all release. There we go. We got them going. Let's get Otto up. Let him do his thing. Engage Otto all routes, and I don't know. We'll let him marinate for a second because there's a lot of traffic, right? Like, he needs to think on this probably for a bit. So we'll release the handbrakes. We've got 13 pounds under her, so she'll be fine as far as that. Reverser is now forward. Now let's dial up Otto and see what they say. On dispatcher, I don't know if you can see way off in the distance up there. There's another train. We're at Allard. So I even forgot that. I don't know if you see on the sign right there. We're at Allard. There's some kind of UP auto rack train up there ahead of us, so yeah, we can go up to what is that crossover called up here? Beeville. I guess that's a Beeville crossover. I'm not really sure, but either way, we can go up to that. But we just gotta wait on the light first before we can do that. This spot at Allard is a really tough location. It's like 2.2 something %, so it's going to be a tough start. I don't know what Cliff is, honestly. I don't remember what Cliff is the other day. I guess it's in excess of 2%, maybe. It's at least 2, right? If not exceeding 2%. So either way, let's hang out here for a second and we see if we can get a light. All right, there we go. We got a light. So we got to get this 10,000, almost 11,000 ton beast going. So we're going to put the fence back up. There we go. Fence is up. Let's go ahead and throttle up on the bottom. So since I know for a fact it's 2.2% here, we're going to go to number 6. And we're going to go to 4 on the head end. Let him do its thing. Sorry, ramping up. All right, it's number 4, number 6. All right. Let it load up a little bit more. All right, let's go ahead and release the brake. All right, she's trying. We're gonna have to bump her a little bit though, right? Watch those amps. Let her keep loading up. Brakes are still releasing, right? Flow 62, so they're still knocking off. Come on, you can do it. I know you want to. Brakes are still trying to knock off, so that's why it's taking us a little bit there. We had a pretty good set under her. There we go. She's trying. She's trying, right? Let's put a little sand under it. All right, back down. Just keep bumping that throttle, right? Sometimes on a good train, all you gotta do is just give her a good nudge on the bottom, and you don't really have to work the throttle like this. But this one is just kind of a tough train. So seeing that we have an approach here at Allard means we're going to have to wind up stopping again up there at Beeville. I guess that's how it's called, right? Beeville? I thought I heard it pronounced that way. So we're going to pronounce it. All right, there we go. Knock signal down. Let's just keep going with it. That other guy hasn't taken off yet. I don't want to go more than 2 notches above the head end on the rear, right? I don't know like what the exact limits is on that, but I don't really feel comfortable doing that. So like our main notch that we're bouncing between 4 and 5, and we're in 6 on the bottom, so I don't really want to exceed 6 right now. Didn't mean to do that. I think we'll be alright though. That's the tricky part with a rail driver, is just hitting those notches, right? Hitting the notches that you need. What's our speed? There we go. Almost 8, so we're good now. We can kind of hang out here for a minute. Let's let this DPU error pass, and then we'll notch out a little bit. There we go. Alright, let's give her one more on the bottom. We're going to go to 7 on the bottom. There we go. Got 7 on the bottom. 1500 amps. Not too terribly bad, right? Someone asked about traction motor temps the other day. Really not that bad. Honestly, like loading it up and letting it sit there for a second and load up good before we let the brakes go. You know, 163 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really not very bad in my book. I don't know what the max is. And I don't know at what point they start derating, right? Your power starts cutting back. I know it does. I think it does on the ES44, maybe the Dash 9 and the Ace. I'm not 100% sure. I know some of them definitely derate, but all right, let's go to 6 on the head end, and we'll go ahead and go to 8 on the bottom. I should have hit the counter back there so we have at least a little bit of an idea, knowing when we're starting to get up here to the crossover, right? We're not going too terribly fast. The thing is like your traction motor temps are still going to be going up anyway, right? I mean, it's already 180 just because we're going so slow and pulling so hard. Or is fans on low, so it probably at some point it'll start kicking into high. So yeah, traction motors not really an issue, right? You don't have to worry about rail burn, slipping and rail burn in game. You know, that's not a thing. So I'm a little bit more lenient with like letting the amps build up before you let go of the brakes, right? And I think it's a good way to kind of get used to it in game, because then you have a really low chance of rolling backwards, right? If you just let everything build up really good before you let go. So as you get more experience and stuff like that, you can kind of you can finesse it a little bit more, right? But all right, she's still kind of hanging out around 1200 amps. 11 mile an hour. We may honestly just stay right here because we got to stop up here anyway. This dude hasn't started rolling yet. We're meeting a burr pit, which is the coil steel train. So we're going to be stopping up here shortly, probably. You know, honestly, to me, like stopping is one of those tricky things too. It's not always getting started. Sometimes it's tricky stopping going uphill, and the reason why I say that is some of these locations aren't really conducive to stopping. Like they don't give you a lot of leeway as far as where you can stop. A good place would be cliff, right? Going around the curve looking out, like you have to get right up on the signal before you can see it, before you get visual on it. So that's kind of a tricky spot, right? So what you have to do is kind of drag around up there. Like you don't want to just go hauling butt up into there where you're not able to stop, even going up a 2.2% grade. But you got to be careful dragging around there and make sure that you don't build your amps up too much, right? And get a knuckle doing that. So all right, let's come out a little bit there. I think we're good. That's the signal right there. So we got to kind of go around this horseshoe curve here. We'll just keep working the head in, you know. We've got an asynchronous still. We'll just keep the fence up. Yeah, we're all good. We're good here. Like I said, traction motor temps 226 now. So yeah, they're going up. They're going to be going up. There's really like not much we can do about that at this point, right? Like we got to kind of ease around there, you know, somewhat slow. It's at high amp, so I mean there's just really not much we can do. All right, we should be seeing that burr pit anytime now. Like he's got to, I think, is that him right there? Maybe. And what we can do when we get around here to this crossover, right? I think that guy's going to blast off. I don't think he's going to hold us there, but we're going to have to wait at least for a little bit. So he's telling us to go on too, which I don't get. But you know, when we stop, we can always center the reverser and bump the throttle up a little bit. I don't know if that helps your traction motors cool or not. It should. I would think it would. All right, DPU just dropped out again. We got to keep an eye on that. Make sure that's not too big of a deal. All right, let's go number 5 on the head in. Let's go to 7 on the bottom. Yeah, I really wish I knew like what are the limits for that? What are the limits between the head end and the bottom as far as like amps and throttle positions or dynamic position, that sort of thing, you know? I think it's more like throttle position than anything. So can we go as far as like, you know, three notches apart? You know, do we need to keep it between like 1 and 2 notches difference? Something like that. It'd be interesting to find out. Like I said, hopefully some engineers will see this and know. I know there was an engineer that watched a few streams that was from BNSF, and he talked about using DPU, but we didn't go into like the limits. All right, there's our burr pit. He's coming around here. There's our crossover signal. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a view. This one isn't too terribly bad, right, to ease around to. We're a short train, so we can fit. You know, another instance where it can be really tough is when you have a long train and you barely fit and you have to get right up on the signal, right? Like you just have to be really careful. Like you just have to watch it. All right, let's do that, and let's come out a few notches on the bottom there. We'll go to 4 on the bottom. We're 3 on the head end. All right, let's go ahead and grab some air. We're just going to stop here. We've got plenty of room. All right, we're still pulling on it, right? We want to keep her stretched. There we go. We're good with that. Let's go ahead and... Oops. Did not mean to do that. Went the other way. Meant to close the throttle off and we opened it all the way up, but it was very brief, so we're okay, right? We're okay. Crisis averted. All right, you see she rolled back a little bit, but I think she was stretched out so freaking tight that she kind of eased back a little bit there. So now we just need to wait on the light, right? That UP train's moving ahead of us. I think what we're going to do is center the reverser. Let's look at our traction motor temps real fast. 249, not horrible. Like I said, I can't remember what the top end is, but that doesn't seem like terribly bad to me. Let's go ahead and take the fence down, get them both synchronous, and what we're going to do is come out on the throttle a few notches. I think this helps cool them down. I think it does. Like I said, it's not terrible, but you know what? Why not while we're sitting here waiting for a light? You know, we can take an approach, or we could possibly wait for something even more favorable, right? If we need to. Let's go ahead and cut that sand off too. We can wait for it clear. Just depends on what's going on traffic wise, right? Let's dial up auto and let's just see. You may hate us for this, but he can get over it. Dude, our traction motor temps are doing, looks like they're coming down. 241, yeah, they're coming down. Sweet. So yeah, we'll cool them as much as we can before we can go. Like I said, I'd like to know the top end of the temps. What's the top end before it starts cutting back the power, right? That's a good thing to know, honestly. Like, it's a good thing to know. I don't even know that. Something you don't deal with like a whole heck of a lot, right? All right, so we'll hang out here and we'll wait for a light and we'll catch up in a little bit. All right, so we're back in our train. We finally got a light. it looks like he's just going to take us up to the next CP and hold us there for another train. So we've got our traction motors cooled down at 227, so that's not bad. At least it's a little better, right? So let's go ahead and go back to our DPU page. Let's come out of the throttle. Let's put the fence back up. There we go. Fence is up. Let's do full independent. We never did do that. And the bell is going too. I think that happened when I teleported back to my train because I was kind of looking around a little bit. We'll let that DPU air clear and then we'll see about blasting off here. There we go. Got that. Reverses forward. Let's go ahead and come out on the bottom to number 6. Let that start loading up. There we go. 2 on the bottom. 4. We're at 222 on our traction motor temps, so we're good with that. There we go. We're good with that. Let's let the head end load up a little bit. All right, knock it off. Let's go. All right, let's bump it up to 5. There we go. We're moving, just barely moving, but we're moving. Some sand going. All right, back to 4 before we hit 1400. Back to 5. So now we got to go to the south end of Beeville, right? And stop. It looks like we're going to be meeting 1. I don't know if he's going to let that guy go or not. He's putting the UP train in the hole. And ooh, not 6. There we go. That's the thing with the RailDriver. You got to be extra careful. Yeah, I am just doing horribly at it right now. I've done so much with this train, I know that once we get around, right at 8 mile an hour, then we can leave it in 5. Now, I think it's only like 5,500 feet to the next control point, so we will have to be aware of that. It's not very far at all. There we go. We can leave it in 5. I think we're just going to hang out right here. Honestly, I think we're going to hang out with this. What's our traction motor temps? We start out at 222, 248. Yeah, so it doesn't hurt it that much to let it load up good before you blast off, right? To let the amps build up. Like I said, I just feel like it's a good way to keep yourself to ensure that you don't roll backwards, right? That's a big thing. Because once you start rolling backwards, it's really easy to panic and throw in that independent, you know, or whatever, and then the next thing you know, you pop the knuckles. So it's best to err on the side of caution, I think. So we're going to get ready to hit that counter up here in just a second. As soon as we clear this switch, I think it's 5,500, right? We'll peak real fast. Yeah, 5,500 feet. So we won't even clear up. We'll still be hanging out just a little bit up here. There we go. Let's counter up. What's our amps? 1139. So yeah, we're doing good. 1,300 on the bottom, almost 1,400. So we're doing good. Once again, 5,862 feet long. This is the BAKBAR. This is one that we've done the last several videos with, right? 4x2 configuration, 2.5 HPT, 10,663 feet, or 10,663 tons. 70 loads, 31 empties. So yeah, it's not like a terrible train. I think on a depot, that's the documentation that I go by the most. I think their minimum HPT for the mountain is 2.3, so we could have worse. We could absolutely have worse, but 2.5 is pretty tough on this train too. Like it makes you work for it, right? Like it's not impossible, but it makes you work for it. Yeah, traction motor temps are getting on up there. They're on high now. Man, I just really wish I knew what that top end temp was. And there's really not much we can do, honestly, right? Like, I mean, we just got to crawl up there. It's just the nature of the beast. I mean, we could probably... We could give her another notch on the bottom and head in. Get up there about 10, because, I mean... Technically, we're still running below restricted speed. We're at distance-wise 1,600 feet. About 3,000 feet in, 2,000 feet away from the south end. We'll have to start thinking about stopping. I can't remember what the picture is of this signal, right? Like, is it in a sharp curve? Do you kind of get a little bit of view? I think you get a little bit of a view. I think it's on the straightaway, right? I think this is the signal that has the little dwarf signal coming off the other main. So we should have plenty of time to make something happen. Let's go ahead and do 8 on the bottom. There we go. 7 on the head end. I'm doing this because I do think we have some leeway, right? Like, we got a little bit of a little bit of an area to see what's going on and stop. He may take his own. I mean, honestly, no, he's not. Okay, so we cheated. We see that Kick Rick is coming on down. In fact, I think that's him up here, right? Someone's done kicked Rick. Another vehicle train. All right, let's start. Let's do 6 on the head end and 7 on the bottom. Five and 7. 4 and 7. All right, let's come on down on the bottom. 4 and 6. Our light should be right over here. There we go. All right, yeah, I see it peeking. Yeah, that's our light. There's a little dwarf over there. So yeah, we've got a little bit of leeway here. We'll just keep easing over there. Traction motors 279. Yeah, they're getting a little toasty, right? Sorry, apps 1585 on the bottom and 1170 on the head end. I think as soon as we get through this curve a little bit and on that straightaway, we'll go ahead and stop her and we'll hang out and try to cool the traction motors down some more. There we go. Let's back out of the bottom. It's gonna be 3 and 5 now. This is like, honestly, like stopping these things sometimes and not popping a knuckle can be really challenging just in itself. There we go. We're stopped. We can go full independent. Go to idle. Head in and rear. There we go. Idle. Let's take the fence back down. Fence is down, and let's center reverser. And let's go to number 4. Try to cool traction motors down at least a little bit. Get the sand off. Let's draw a little bit more air down just in case. All right, there's the kick, Rick. Got a KCS unit on the head end. I don't think I've ever had a single train with a KCS unit on it. See what our traction motors are doing. They gonna hate us because we didn't dim our light. It'll be okay though. They'll get over it. Too much stuff going on, right? Traction motors are on high. Like I said, I don't know. I know this helps pump the air up right when you need to, but I don't know if it has an effect on the traction motors. It seems like it does. 261. Yeah, they're coming on down. There, yeah, traction motors coming on down. 240 degrees Fahrenheit, so not bad. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal with traction motor temps. Either way, there's this bottom coming around. Hopefully we'll get a light. We can get out of here. We'll let them keep cooling as much as possible. So that UP trade is still ahead of us. I don't know how far down the line he's gotten. I mean, we could cheat and look here. Yeah, he's running around someone at Rowan. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, he's running around someone at Rowan. West Colton to ST. I don't know what ST is. Maybe that's the northbound train. I'm honestly not sure. All right, let's go ahead and get our light back. Right. We'll get prepared to blast off here. Go ahead and go reverse it forward. There we go. There's our light. Nice. All right, let's get fence back up. Once again, we're gonna do 6 on the bottom, 4 on the head end. What's it's 2.25 right here, so it's a pretty legit spot to start out, right? Okay, let's do 4. Let her start loading up. 6 on the bottom. Let's get our sand going. Let her load up good. There we go, through 400 amps. Oh, she wanted to, right? Bump her up to 5. She was going. I should have bumped her into 5 really fast while we were moving so good, right? I mean, the brakes still are kind of knocking off too, so. Yeah, I think if I was a little bit quicker on that, just notch her into 5 for a little while to keep that momentum going before she kind of... There you go. I think we're doing good. Oh, nice. We got it clear now too, so we're good to go. Oops, not 6. 5, please. 4 and 5. That's what we want. Man, she's not gaining a whole lot of speed before those amps start really. I mean, she's doing it. It's just a really bad location at 2.25% grade. There we go. We're halfway there. There we go. We should be just about good. Yep. All right. We can stay in 5. Let's go ahead and open up the bottom one more. Go to 7 on the bottom, 5 on the head end. So once again, we're asynchronous, right? Asynchronous, independent, fence up, whatever you want to call it. We're basically running the front and the back separate. All right, amps are coming on down, so we should be able to go to 6 and go to 8 on the bottom. I think the big thing is just you got to be hyper focused on these amps, right? Like right now, that got kind of. Boom, you don't want to do that. That's weird. She was really touchy going to 7. There we go. Just be hyper focused on your amps. And like, don't think you're safe as long as you don't cross 14, because you can absolutely get a knuckle at 13. In some instances you can. So like, don't let your guard down. I've popped a knuckle plenty of times, like drag it around to a signal, right? Like at Cliff or somewhere, you know, where you could possibly have a stop and you're having to kind of drag around there to it. You don't have a lot of leeway as far as like how far away you can stop. So yeah, you can definitely do it. I popped a knuckle at a little over 1300 amps going around to I think it was Rowan. So our traction motor temps are now 282. Not horrible, right? Got a bad spot right here, 2.4%. That's why she's struggling so much. She's hanging out around 1250 amps. I mean, we could try to get a little bit more out of her, just bump the throttle up, right? Bump it to 7. All right, bump it back to 6. I want to hang out. Okay, there we go. I didn't want to mess with the throttle too much with the DPU error. I don't think we're going to get much more out of her. If we can just get her just past that threshold where we can leave her in number 7, then we'll be good. Not quite there yet. Yeah, I don't think that's really doing much for us. We're just going to have to get on a little better spot with the grade. Yeah, she's definitely kind of struggling through here. It doesn't help with the curves too. Yeah, we just can't seem to get much more out of her. Let's try it again. We got a little bit. Oh, she's so close, right? Like, she's kind of flirting with it a little bit. 1360 amps. Yeah, we gotta be really careful. Okay, yeah, it's starting to come down now. All right. Had a little bit of pucker factor there. Like I said, it's 1300 is like when my spotty senses really start going off. And here's another thing too that you don't have to worry about in game with something that could potentially happen in real life, right? Is they could just slip. They could slip really good, and you know, and that's it. Like just one good slip for your power on the head end would cause you to bust a knuckle. So all right, so that means we're going to be stopping on the other end of Rowan up here, right? Or not Rowan, Cliff, which is one of the spots I was just talking about. One of the really crappy spots to have to stop, right? Yeah, we're probably going to be meeting some kind of manifest up here, I think. Let's cheat. We'll go ahead and cheat. West Colnet. Yeah, okay. So hopefully, I wish, man, I wish that dude would clear up before we get around there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's overheat. That's an overheat, so we're fine. Let's just keep going with it. That should clear up here in just a second. Yeah, there we go. Just a tunnel. All right, let's hit the counter. Shoot. So we got to go around there looking out, and that's a really bad spot to look out at, but it is what it is, right? So yeah, we're earning our paycheck today. It's not, yeah, it's not a very. We'll go peek. We'll take a look at what I was talking about, right? So here you go. You're coming up here. You go by the greaser. Man, it's a good thing those things don't actually do anything, because that would suck too. And yeah, you're like right here on it, right? You don't have a lot of leeway to stop before that thing comes into view. So you come around, and there you go. Yeah, you know, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? About maybe 10 car lengths, something like that. Not a whole heck of a lot, that's for sure. All right, so siding length is what is it? 7637. Okay. So we should clear up. And he can blast off, but the thing is, we've already taken the approach, right? Like, it doesn't even matter if he's long gone, you could still have a red there. So either way, we're stuck having to look out at the south end of Cliff, which is not something I necessarily wanted to do, but that's definitely one of those. Like, Cliff is just bad all the way around, honestly. Like, even on this end, even on the north end, like, it's bad coming around here. looking out, right? Like you don't have a lot of leeway. It's bad coming through the tunnel because you don't have good view of the signal. Like it's just really just a bad spot, like all the way around. All the way around, it's a bad spot. Like there's not much you can do about it. So traction motor temps now are 299. They've actually come down just a hair. Engine temps kind of borderline hot. Alright, what's our counter coming up on 4,000 feet? So we'll be 3,000 and change away from the end. Man, it seems like we're flying, right? Like, it really just does. Let's come out ahead a little bit. It would suck doing restricted speed through here. Like, we're under 15, but there's no way we could stop within half the range of vision. Like, you'd have to creep along here. Yeah, we got DPU error too. Oops, come on, just 5. I just want 5. Come on. There we go. We're at 5,000 feet, so we got a little bit here. Now, where you really need to be careful is, let's say we're creeping around here to cliff, right? And we're a little bit slower than we want to be, then coming back out on the throttle to drag around there. Like, that's where you really need to watch out. So we come up here, this is our greaser, that's our curve to the right, and then that's going to be our signal, right? Yeah. So this is a tough one. I'll be honest, I'm a little antsy on this one, dragging around there too. I mean, granted, we're going uphill and stopping. It should be super easy, but... All right, there we go. We cleared up. We should be just a little over 1,000 feet from the signal. Should have a light. Can't guarantee it though. We don't know. All right, back on the bottom a little bit. We're at 4 on the bottom. We're going to go back to 5. This is where we don't want her to squat, right? Because we know 4 and 5 is what we need just to get started. So we know that if we're less than 4 and 5, we're not going to maintain our speed, right? Give her another notch on the bottom, 6 and 4. Yeah, see, this is the tough part right here, is like dragging around here looking out for that light. She got a little slower than what I wanted her to. I just want to creep around there about 5, but All right, there is... Is that ours? No, that's the other side. There we go. We got it clear. Sweet. So now we start working on getting this thing moving. Sweet. So we're good. We didn't have to stop. You know, if we had to stop, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. What's our traction motors doing now? 285. Not horrible at all, guys. Like, really not bad at all. All right, so now we got to work this thing back up to 8 mile an hour. All right, so we'll bump her into 5. Let the amps come up. Back to 4. Back to 5. There we go. We stay right here now. All right, let's go ahead and go 7 on the bottom. So far, so good. All right, we can do 6 on the head end now. And 8 on the bottom. Like I said, until I see something in writing or someone tells me some pretty solid information as far as the difference between the bottom and the head end, we're going to try to keep it around 2 notches, you know, for like an extended period of time. You know, sometimes you might see 3. Something like that, but we're going to try to keep it at 2. There, we should be close to be able to bump her up to 7 on the head end. There we go. Sweet. All right, what does traffic look like for us the rest of the way here? We're going in a hole at Rowan. Nice. So it looks like that is at least going to be an in and out, so that won't be too terribly bad, right? That won't be horrible. That'll be very doable. There, we should be able to go number 8. There we go. Just keep an eye on the amps. Make sure it's okay. I tell you what would suck. A scenario that would really suck is like going around to the north end of cliff looking out for a stop. And having to stop like with the bulk of your power in that tunnel and then starting in that tunnel. Like, I think that could be some serious issues. I think you could have some issues with overheating and that sort of thing, right? I mean, we already got an overheat going through there. Either way, we're golden now, guys. Let's say we should totally have... There we go. There's our in and out at Rowan. So, like, we kind of cheated, right? Instead of just going off signal indication, we kind of cheated a little bit, but we know we're good. Either way, she's looking pretty sweet, right? I can't remember. No, I did not. We need to cut that out. So the bottom unit, that ace, we're cutting the dynamics out because we can only have, what, 28? I think it's 28 axles on the head end, right? I think it's 42 and 28. I'll have to go back. Like I said, we're going to do a whole video on that. It's not going to be like terribly complicated. It's just going to be off like the depot information because I really like their stuff. I think it's a good compromise. I don't know how. I think it's fairly accurate, but you know, every railroad kind of has their own philosophy and terminology and stuff like that, and they just have the one thing that you have to know. So I like their stuff a lot. There, let's check our temps and stuff again. Oh, tip, she's still... Yeah, she's still kind of hanging out borderline there, right? Traction motor temps too, a little bit. 296, they've come up some. I'm guessing, man, I don't know what these notches are. 250, 300, 350, 400, 450. Okay, so each one of these is a 50-degree notch, right? So, traction motor temps, the red, it red lines it, let's see, 350, 450. So I'm guessing 450 is the top end before the power starts derating. All right, we got approach diversion coming up. So yeah, we're going to say 450. Either way, she's hanging out right around 300, just a hair under. Yeah, I haven't gone up the mountain a lot. I've said a bazillion times, guys, I'm not a West Coast guy. But honestly, I feel like if you want to have the best experience as, you know, as far as like becoming an engineer and dealing with these type scenarios where you're like low speed, high tonnage, you know, starting on a really heavy grade, stopping on a really heavy grade, looking out for signals on a really heavy grade, like the default Tehachapi is probably one of the best things you can do. I mean, really. You know, Fitzgerald, completely different kind of running. You know, it's more air work and throttle modulation and that sort of thing, right? Just trying to keep your train together and maintain speed and get it, you know, get it through all those sags and knots and stuff like that. But definitely do some Tehachapi stuff, I would say, for sure. You don't have to do a lot, but do enough to get used to it. Man, these engines are worked hard. Everything is worked hard. Traction motors, the prime mover. Man, he pulled up tight. He is all up on that signal, right? Yeah, this honestly, the north end of Rowan would suck too, coming around here looking out. But it wouldn't be nearly as bad, right? Because you are going downhill, so you could really, like, you could manage your speed enough to handle that. So all right, so either way, we got in and out. We're probably going to end it right here, guys, here in a second, as soon as we kind of get clear. Yeah, we've got it. We've at least conquered a portion of the mountain, right? We got Woodford way long. Cable crossover into Tehachapi. One of these places is kind of a bad spot looking out too, but that's going southbound. Yeah, UP's done left us behind. Yeah, he was cooking. If you're interested, if you want to know how I'm manipulating this screen over here on the right, just C pages forward, X pages back, right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. All right, it's back. That had me worried for a second when it was X'd out. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, we could be super close to getting a knuckle because I wasn't paying attention to it. I didn't know like if those DPU were fixing to drop out. If those things had dropped out, that we would have been done. Put a fork in us. I'm assuming maybe if you could catch them, like if you know they're on the verge of dropping out and dropping load, that you could just go all the way to idle on the head end, right? And then grab your air and you should be okay. Just got to watch it, right? Like you got to pay attention to this stuff. You absolutely do. You can't take your eye off the ball. All right, I think we're good. Someone was asking a while back if I saw a lot of locomotive failures in game. Really not, honestly. I see more DPU comms failures than anything. Like that's the one that I've gotten multiple times. At least 2 or 3 different trains, right? Comm failures where our DPU just quit working. Do not. Yeah, it's hovering right at 300. So either way, there you go. We, you know, we took everything that we've done the past 2 videos and kind of put it together as far as like working with the DPU and getting our train started on a heavy grade multiple times, right? We did it at Allard. We did it at Beeville. We did it at, where else did we do it? Cliff. Like, you know, we've done it several times. Or no, we didn't have to stop at Cliff. So we've done it twice, right? At least twice. I can't remember. They all blend into each other, but, it at least gives you a little bit of an idea. I would definitely, like, if you're going to be working Tehachapi, if you're going to be running this route, learn your DPU keybinds, know them backwards and forwards. Don't be hesitant about it. Like, don't be trying to hunt for them. Write them down and have them in front of you. That way you know. Put your power in, you know, center reverser, have it tied down, and just go through the controls. Like, be able to operate that DPU consistently and get it to do exactly what you want it to do, right? And you should be fine. You should be fine. Like I said, we proved in the first video you can do it with it in synchronous mode, but asynchronous or independent mode makes it a lot easier. A whole lot easier. Let's get around here and check the bottom of this train. This is the Barstow, right? I think so. All right, we got to slide out of here. All right, train and road looks good. Marker's working. All right, guys, I think that is going to do it for this one. Love all of you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have anything else that you're a little bit iffy about or you want to know or me to go over, just leave a comment down below and we'll do that. Be sure to hit that like on the way out and we'll catch you next time. Peace. No, big cat, no. Stop.